So here we go. So Suicide Squad, much maligned, opened up. Was it like 6 weeks ago now? Like, I mean, sorry, 6 weeks, maybe 2 months ago now. It's been out. I wanted to wait for all the noise to die down to kind of address some of the issues with Suicide Squad. I also wanted to think about it for a while. I didn't want to just come in and say, oh, I wanted to make sure that when I made this video, I was being as little biased as I possibly can be. As I said, I'm a person who didn't like Man of Steel. I thought it was I think it's one of the worst movies, in terms of comic book movies of all time. I'm not going to go into why. I've got videos on it. Check them out if you want to. I think The Dark Knight Rises, I haven't even been able to watch it twice. I watched it once, and then tried to watch it again, and I wanted to just leave it, because I never wanted to see it again, because it was just that awful. And again, I'm not going to go into it, but a lot of people seem to want to defend Man of Steel and Dark Knight Rises and claim that it's better than Suicide Squad and better than Batman v Superman, which is crazy. I'm going to go into that as well, because that's nuts. But I'll go into that very, very briefly. But let's start with Suicide Squad. This video is going to be dedicated 100% to Suicide Squad, and we're gonna break down all the criticisms. We're gonna follow all the main criticisms and look into it, see what it's all about. All right. Okay, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be cool. This is gonna be great. So, Suicide Squad, written and directed by David Ayer. Guy did Fury, End of Watch. I believe Training Day. So we've got him directing, him in the director's chair. Apparently wrote this flick in 6 weeks. Huge cuts in between as a reaction to the backlash against Batman v Superman being too dark and gritty. And since, despite the bad reviews, has gone on to make a huge killing at the box office due to wide-scale fan support, independently of the fact that people still are trying to call this a financial failure. I don't know why. Also starring, obviously, the Will Smith, coming at it Big Willie style once again. Enigmatic, charismatic, brilliant in this movie. Jared Leto as the Joker. We'll go into him. I'm not going to tell you my opinions on him yet. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. I'm going to leave that as well. Model Cara Delevingne bringing to life the Enchantress. Jay Hernandez, Aidan Devine, Jai Courtney, I'll go into. There's another guy, I'm not going to name the whole cast, and of course, Margot Robbie, who plays Harley Quinn. I don't love everything DC does. I think Marvel are getting a bit generic. Love Winter Soldier, love Daredevil, the TV series. So if Marvel does something good, I'm willing to say they've done something good. If DC does something bad, I'm willing to say DC did something bad. Here we go. So, number one criticism of the film, muddled editing. The one thing I ask, whenever someone comes at me with the muddled editing and how the editing of the film was bad and how, I'll go into the music and the soundtrack, because this at the beginning of the film essentially was like these kind of introductions, and they were using a lot of film school language, how about show don't tell, and about the kind of 3-story arc of a hero's journey, where there's a kind of beginning, inciting incident, then you have the kind of middle where a person is kind of finding their friends and allies, and etc., climax, all of this kind of thing. And they talk about that, and they talk about how this movie is missing parts. Now, a very famous, I think it's probably the most popular book on screenwriting. And I really like this book, because what it says about screenwriting and film in general is there are no rules to film. If a film is good and enjoyable, right, and the editing isn't what you're used to, it's still an enjoyable film. It doesn't have to be paced the way other films are paced. In fact, there are no two films that are edited the same. So what's good editing versus bad editing? Did it serve and tell you a complete story that you enjoyed? Is my question in Suicide Squad. If the answer is no, fine.